All right, Shalom. For the first, we give our praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shai, Shem Makakodas, Bakathum. Double honor to the apostle of Elder Great Millstone, to I can across the globe, pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. Want to say Shalom. Isaiah 8 and 20. To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there's no light in them. And that's what it's about. We filter everything through the scriptures. We got these bootleg, and I'm gonna call them bootleg because these guys been in the truth, had their platform for many, many years, and they're still teaching things that are contrary to the scriptures, coming up some other way, um, totally butchering and disregarding precepts, all right, leading to their own understanding. And our job is to search the scriptures daily, like the Church of Berea. When you go to word, Berea means well watered. When the Lord watered his best garden, which is what? It's the prophets, the elect, you know, and we're here um, to lead the people, to show people the difference between the holy and the profane, and we are um, uh, uh, very astute, all right, at recognizing and hearing false speech. Let's get that real quick. It's about false speeches, right? Yeah, Sirach 36 and 19, it says, the belly devoureth all meats, yet is one meat better than another? And the answer is yeah. I like lamb better than I like chicken, to be honest. And our belly is mind. We gotta be careful we're putting in our mind and our spirit. We gotta filter everything through the scriptures, man. Although some of these books and some of these uh, information that's being brought out or disinformation that's being brought out sounds sweet, but our job is to use the spirit of discernment to filter it out through the scriptures, to go back to the scriptures and see what the scriptures say. All right. As the palate tastes diverse kinds of venison, so do our heart of understanding false speeches, man. When we hear certain things, um, I listened to um, Apostle Apostle Gabbard about Tazariak and all that, and um, and it's just like bugged out how the Lord not dealing with him because the scriptures and precepts totally go against their breakdowns of these things, man. It's about John the Baptist wasn't in the truth and he fell out despite all the accolades and the praise that Yahweh Shai gave him, man. All right. So, we got to be on our watch. We got to be um, um, uh, 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 diligent, okay, in going over these scriptures and correcting shoddy work and mistakes and making sure we're putting out the right doctrine, man, coming from the right source, which the main source is the scriptures, man. This is Job 12 and 11. Does not the ear try words and the mouth taste his meat? So that's what we're doing, man. We're trying the words. We're trying words and filtering them out, man. Like, does this line up? Does, does this precept go with that? Is what he's saying backed up by the scriptures, man? All right, what do the scriptures say? That's the final answer to all deliberations, man. Okay, and we have to be um, aware that not everyone who opens this book, all right, who claims to be an Israelite or a teacher or a bishop or an elder, all right, don't always speak the right things, man. Okay, and it's evident That's why we have to have our senses exercised, all right, to make sure that we're being diligent, that we're doing. Matter of fact, it says this, the what? Study show ourselves approved. Second Timothy 2:15 says, study to show thyself approved unto the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. You know, and that's the thing, man. You know, we're reading and we're watching video, different, taking in different information. All right, but we're putting out with the scriptures, lining up with the scriptures, man. All right, and we study. Not only do we study on scripture, we study history and archaeology and different brothers going to different things. Okay, that's all part of our labor of love, our diligence that we must put forth into dealing with these scriptures, man. Make sure that we're not putting out false information, disinformation, wrong breakdowns. Okay, that's why we're talk about being bold and being confident in the Lord. So we've done done our due diligence, man. All right, and and the more we get into the scriptures, the more we be in the spirit, we're able to understand and see, all right, and hear things that are off to our ears. When someone tells you that um that John the Baptist fell out the truth or was not in the truth, then that doesn't sound right. There are too many precepts to back it up, to go against that. The virgin birth. There's too many precepts out here. To to neglect the fact that what you're saying is not on point. Like the things just don't line up, man. All right, and it has to line up. It's got to line up with the scriptures, man. All right, you know. Isaiah 8:20. To the law and to the testimony, they speak not according to this word, it's because there's no light in them. And that's the thing, man. Are you coming out of the scriptures? Are you linking up with the scriptures? Are the scriptures proving the point? Or are you just adding to the scriptures and taking away from the scriptures, meaning to your own understanding? You know, and that's the thing. That's the bottom line. Whether we're talking in conversations or we're hearing these different uh, uh, social media um, uh, personalities try to influence you by using scriptures that they can't break down, or using scriptures are not what scriptures are talking about. The scriptures are very manifold, but they're plain to them to understand. All right, not understanding what is given to everybody. So our main goal is to make sure that we're speaking the things on point. Making sure that we're not putting out information or disinformation that is not scriptural, man. As far as important to read the roll, to search the scriptures, man, or to be constantly engulfed in the word of Yahweh from outside. So when you hear certain things, you're able to cut it. You're able to correct it, rebuke it. And that's our job. The scriptures say that it's profitable for reproof and correction. All right, that's where we come in at, man. We come in to set the record straight, so to speak, when it comes to these scriptures, man. All right, and just make sure that we're doing it right. I'm putting out the right precepts, linking the right precepts, okay, and understand that everything that don't be having these itching ears, man. All right, because these guys who have these platforms and these big followers don't mean they're on point. Don't mean they understand the scriptures, So that one say call all y'all, but you know, shy. That one say apostle, elder, great millstone. Till next time, shalom and the Bible ball.